Hey fam, glad you tapped in. Because what's unfolding in Dalton, Illinois, it's not just politics. It's a full-blown Netflix-level saga. We're talking betrayal, collapse, scandal, and now a plot twist nobody saw coming. Trust me, the story runs deep. So buckle up. Let's rewind to May 2021. History went down. Dalton, a small, predominantly black town, elected Tiffany Henyard as mayor, the first young black woman to ever hold that seat. She came in like a storm, promising empowerment, transformation, and the kind of change folks have been waiting on. The people rallied. They believed she was about to flip the whole script. But fast forward just a few years, that hope turned into disappointment. Real quick. Instead of cleaning house, Henyard became the headline, not for progress, but for chaos. Allegations flew in left and right. Claimed she was burning through public funds like it was her personal credit card. Hair bundles, designer sandals, luxury candles, even cookware. While residents struggled, she was allegedly out here treating the budget like her own Amazon Prime haul. And when people dared to call her out, she didn't just clap back. She went full throttle. In village meetings, she fired shots at critics, most of them black residents just asking questions. She shouted, "Y'all should be ashamed. Y'all black and attacking a black woman that's empowered." But her yelling didn't quiet the storm. It just fueled the fire. The heat built. The spotlight got hotter. Investigations launched. Residents got louder. And then the shift finally came. Dalton swore in a brand new mayor, Jason House. After months of messy meetings and backroom tension, Jason House officially stepped up. And this wasn't a low-key handoff. City Hall was packed. The streets were buzzing. The energy? Straight electric. When Jason placed his hand on the Bible and promised to lead with honesty and integrity, the crowd erupted. One witness said, "We just watched our little village make national history." And they weren't lying. Dalton's meltdown had turned into a national case study. One of scandal, yes, but also of resilience and community power. Now with Jason House at the wheel, the mission is simple but heavy. Restore trust, clean up the mess, and rebuild what was lost. And judging by how the people showed up, they're beyond ready for a reboot. Meanwhile, Tiffany, she pivoted straight to Facebook. Instead of accountability or answers, she's posting selfies and motivational quotes like nothing ever went down. The same woman who once pulled in over $347,000 a year, more than the Illinois governor, is now at zero. No perks, no paycheck, no power. And word on the street, she didn't save a dime. Because here's the reality. When you chase power for the wrong reasons, it vanishes quick. And when it's gone, if you didn't lead with integrity, there's nothing left to stand on. No team, no loyalty, no legacy, just silence. But this isn't just Tiffany's downfall, it's a blueprint. A reminder of what happens when leadership fails, and when the people finally say enough. Dalton woke up, and they're not going back to sleep. While Tiffany was chasing cameras and clout, other leaders were actually doing the work. Folks like Edward Steve and Jason House. They weren't trying to trend. They weren't performing for headlines. They were grinding, quietly, steadily, for the community. And here's the twist. Jason didn't even want to be mayor at first. He had the chance 4 years back and walked away. Why? Because he didn't need the title to serve. He didn't need credit to care. He was showing up anyway. No applause, no spotlight, just consistency. So while some were busy perfecting their image, Jason was building quiet trust, showing up, laying the groundwork. And when the scandals finally hit a breaking point, he stood up and said, "Enough." The people listened, and they followed. Dalton doesn't just owe Jason applause. They owe him gratitude. Because real leadership doesn't show up in designer heels with a camera crew. Sometimes it shows up in work boots, ready to get dirty and get it done. Now, sure, you'll still hear the excuses. Some will say, they just didn't want a black woman to win. But that's not it. And that argument, it's played out. Yes, being black, being a woman, breaking barriers, that matters. It inspires. It motivates. But it's not a free pass. Identity might open the door, but what keeps you in the room? Your choices. your integrity, your results. Because the people who elect you, they still need action every single day. And in towns like Dalton, Montgomery, Jackson, Atlanta, communities full of black pride and legacy, being black isn't a setback. It's a badge of honor. They want us to lead. But once we get in the seat, it's on us to deliver. I'm from Sacramento. And let me tell you, if you're not in LA or Oakland climbing that political ladder, it's tough. That's why we look to places like Detroit, Atlanta, and New Orleans, cities where black excellence has already carved a legacy. But here's the truth. That dream only survives if the leaders actually do the work. Too often, people win office and immediately start chasing clout. They forget why they were even chosen. And every single time that happens, it's the community that eats the cost. The people who put them there are the ones who pay the price. We have to raise the bar. Leadership is not a side hustle. It's not a stage to flex on. It's a calling. When a community hands you power, you don't stunt with it. You honor it. You use it to serve. You use it to build. Period. Because if we don't, we're just going to keep watching the same tired movie. Leaders rise fast, crash faster, and the neighborhood they promised to uplift, left behind in the rubble. That's the real tragedy. And this isn't just Tiffany Henyard's story. It's about all of us and what we demand from our leaders. When your people trust you with their vote, that's not a trophy. It's a responsibility. Your chance to lift, not flex. To deliver, not just brag. That's the difference between service and betrayal. And Dalton, Illinois, that town just gave the country a masterclass in how fast betrayal gets exposed. Let Dalton be the warning. For every town, every city, every district dreaming of better, watch who you vote in. Don't just clap at the campaign speech. Keep watching once they win. Because if they're chasing chaos or clout, the fall is guaranteed. And when it comes, it's brutal. Title? Gone. Respect? Gone. Legacy? Dust. All that's left is a feed full of selfies and a history nobody wants to remember. But here's the flip side. If you lead with purpose, if you stay grounded and real, that legacy will outlive you. That kind of leadership doesn't just build careers. It builds generations. It changes lives. But the second you start believing you're above the people who put you there, that's when the countdown to collapse begins. And trust me, it comes quick. The money dries up. The followers fade. The stage goes silent. And speaking of collapse, let's talk about Kamal Woods. Yes, that Kamal. The married man caught up in Tiffany's fairy tale back when it all looked shiny. When the checks were fat, the trips were fire, the press was glowing. But now that the money's gone and the spotlight's dim, Kamal is nowhere to be found. You think he's sticking around for dollar store dinners and awkward silence? Please, that man's already laced up and halfway to the exit. Because let's be real, he was never there for her. He was there for the perks, for the ride, for the image. And now that the ride is over, so is he. And Tiffany, she's not just out of the mayor's seat. She's out of time, out of chances, out of backup. Because this is what happens when you treat public service like a hustle instead of a duty.